Hi, are you Spanish and looking to qualify as a solicitor of England and Wales? If so, this video is for you. My name is Ingemar Hunnings. I'm the lead consultant at HCL. We're a management consultancy helping businesses in the legal service sector and also people who wish to qualify as solicitors of England and Wales. So we do a lot of compliance support, AML, data protection, things like that, working with case management systems. But with people wanting to qualify as solicitors through the SQE route, we act as external confirming solicitors for QWE, and we help people who want help with their application for exemption from the SQE2. That's foreign qualified lawyers. Now then, what I'm going to do is share my screen and talk through the process, what's required to qualify as a solicitor through the SQE route. And then we'll look at exemptions and such like. So let me share my screen, and you'll see that there are 4 elements required by the SRA for you to qualify as a solicitor of England and Wales through the SQE route. You have to have a degree or degree equivalent. You have to have passed the exams, SQE1 and SQE2. You need to have 2 years full-time equivalent qualifying work experience confirmed to the SRA by an SRA solicitor or a COP. And the usual thing of proving your identity and then criminal records checks. So let's go through these in sequence. So degree or degree equivalent. Notice it's not a law degree. So if someone is telling you that you need to do a converter course, then that's their requirement, not the SRA's. The equivalency of your qualification, if you go through your My SRA profile on the SRA website, you'll see that they use a company, I think it's called ENIC, to check that equivalency. You can't get exempted from that. That is that. Now then, you need to sit and pass the SQE exams, SQE1 and SQE2. So the SQE1 exam, in that they are testing your legal knowledge. It's tough. Of the people who sit the exam, about 55% pass. It's made up of 2 elements, the FLK1 and the FLK2. And so the FLK stands for functioning legal knowledge. The exam is a multiple choice exam. Each of the questions has, I believe, 4 potential answers, more than one of which looks as though it could be right. So it's tough. It's also tough time-wise, so you need to be really disciplined in making quick decisions. You can only apply to sit the SQE2 exam if you've passed the SQE1 or you've been exempted from the SQE1. Now, the SQE2 exam is the SRA having a look at you as if you were a newly qualified solicitor. Would you be a safe pair of hands for them to license to work with the public? So that's made up of 16 real-life scenarios where they have a good look at you, not only looking at your knowledge, but also how you deal with the situation. 12 of those are written, 4 are oral. The written part and also the SQE1 you can sit in the Pearson View centres, and there are a number of those around the world, so you may not have to travel to England and Wales for that. At the time of recording this, which is March 2026, you still have to travel to England and Wales for the oral part of the SQE2 exam. Okay. Right, the qualifying work experience. So the SRA has defined qualifying work experience as the provision of legal services. It's gone on to say that it does not have to be done in a law firm. It does not have to be done in English and Welsh law. It does not have to be done in England and Wales. So it could be done in Spain, not a problem. You can also reach back in time as far as you want for your qualifying work experience. Your qualifying work experience could be voluntary, unpaid. Okay. You can also use an external solicitor to confirm your qualifying work experience. So that's when would you do that? Well, if you don't have an SRA regulated solicitor in your organization who can do the confirmation. So it has to be someone regulated by the SRA. So not an Australian solicitor, not an English barrister. It has to be an SRA regulated English or Welsh solicitor. Now, the acting as an external confirming solicitor is something that we do. I have confirmed at the time of recording this, over 180 people's qualifying work experience. Over half of those people were outside the UK. Over half were working in-house in companies and organizations. Others have been working for government organizations, for charities, a few for foreign law firms, but not many. So when I'm on the SRA website confirming QWE as an external solicitor, the SRA requires me to confirm more than if you were just working in my law firm. So they require me to confirm that I have reviewed the work, which I believe is seen the work, and I look at that through a Zoom call with it on your computer. Also, they require me to get feedback from your supervisor, which I do via a Zoom call, and that's very easy for them, 5 or 10 minute chat. So your supervisor does not have to be a lawyer at all, okay? So I'll just bring onto screen the service from our website so you can see that there. So if you do want help with that, there's a form down here you can fill in, or you can email me. Please don't telephone me because I may not pick that up, and I haven't got an audit trail. I just got a random phone number. So best to fill in the form or email me so I've got some written record of that. Now, we usually offer a free initial Zoom for me to check whether it is appropriate for me to be assisting you, whether I do think it is QWE, and then if everything seems to be okay, to go through explaining what the process is so you have full knowledge before you make any decisions. So that is the external confirming a solicitor service for the QWE. So let's go back to the elements to qualify. Proving your identity, I mean, you have to do that. We do have a service if you don't have a solicitor who can help for a nominal fee. We can do that. The SRA uses Atlantic Data, I believe, a company to do that verification. So the SRA have said that it's fine for us to do that over a Zoom call, or it could be a Teams, video call. All right, now then, let's have a look at the exemptions. So SQE1, the only way in reality that you're going to get an exemption from the SQE1 is if you have passed the old LPC exam. That's the old way to qualify, which is transitioning out at the moment. So you can have your LPC uploaded to your MySRA profile and trade it in against an SQE1 exemption. Okay, then you'll have to sit the SQE2 exam and get your QWE confirmed. Your QWE, by the way, that confirmation can take place before, during, or after the exams. It doesn't expire. Now then, if you're a qualified lawyer, like an Abogado, you have the ability to apply for an exemption from the SQE2 exam. Okay, but you'd have to sit the SQE1. If you're a qualified lawyer and you had passed the old LPC, then you've got two potential exemptions you can go for. So you could trade your LPC in against an SQE1 exemption and sit the SQE2. But that would mean that you, according to what the SRA say, you would then have to still get your QWE confirmed. You're not exempted from that. If instead, as a qualified Abogado, you decide to sit the SQE1 and apply for the exemption from the SQE2, you are automatically exempted from the QWE element. You can apply for the exemption for the SQE2 before you sit the SQE1. As far as I know, that's fine. So the only time you can't apply as a qualified lawyer for exemption from the SQE2 is if you have sat and failed the SQE2, or if you're instead applying for the exemption from the SQE1. So I hope that's clear. You may have to rewatch that bit just to double check. Okay. How do you apply for the exemption from the SQE2? So if I bring on screen what the SRA says, okay, and we do have a service which helps with this. I'll come back to that. So the SRA says that a Spanish abogado, you can apply for an individual exemption from the SQE2. You don't have an agreed exemption. So you can apply for an individual exemption. So for that, you have to upload your proof of your professional qualification. An admission certificate is the easiest thing to do. You have to provide proof of your legal work experience post-qualification as a Spanish abogado for at least 18 months legal work experience post-qualification. And you prove that by way of uploading a letter of reference, which you'll probably draft, and that will need to be signed by the person who directly supervised you during that 18 months. If you have more than one period of work to make up the 18 months legal work experience, then it'll be letters of reference. There are specific things that need to be in that. Now we, as I mentioned, do provide a service to help you with that, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Also, you'll need to upload with the completed form and the SRA fee, the proof of the referees, either one or more, depending upon how many letters you've done. Professional qualification. If they're a lawyer, then their admission certificate. If they're not a lawyer, but they're a professional, then again, proof of their professional qualification, their admission certificate, plus explaining in the reference letter how they were appropriate to supervise your legal work. Maybe they're an accountant. If they're not a professional at all, that doesn't stop you. There's no admission certificate you can upload, but you still will need to explain in the letter of reference how they were appropriate to supervise your legal work. So we have a service to help with this. On this page on our website, you can download the form, which of course you can download from the SRA website. We explain what needs to be in the letter and the application. But if you need help, we have a service for which we charge £250 plus VAT if you're based in the UK, where we will give you a simple template. We will review your draft letter and advise you of any changes that need to be made. We will review your draft your application form for the exemption, and again advise you on what needs to be changed, if anything, and remind you on what needs to be uploaded to the SRA website in support of the application. I'll bring the form for the application onto screen. Okay, there is the form. You'll be filling in section 1, who you are. Section 2, your jurisdiction and what practice rights your qualification gives you, which for you as a Spanish abogado, I believe would be all of these in 2.2. Section 3 about your ethics, you'd fill in section 4B, not 4A, 4B you would fill in. And then you would tick SQE2 exemption. You do not need to fill in sections 5 and 6, which is a blessing. Section 7, you would fill in 7C. Now, the SRA is wanting 2 years legal work experience, but for you, it says my 2 years legal work experience is a combination of that gained during qualification. So they're taking 6 months of that, and post-qualification, 18 months. So you'd fill in details here, name and address of the contact or contact details of your supervisor or supervisors. Okay. You don't need to fill in section 8. Okay, so a reminder that if you want to get in touch, then at the bottom of every page in our website, there's a form you can use, or you can email me. Please do remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the videos so more people get to see them. Right, and so I hope that helps you with understanding how you could apply for for exemptions, and how you could qualify as an English or Welsh solicitor through the SQE route. So if you are going to ask us for help, I look forward to speaking with you and wish you all the best. Take care. Goodbye.